Yeah, so for me, being called fat before I understood about fat acceptance was literally the worst thing possible. You could call me any word, but to say, hey, you're fat, it would just be like a stab in my chest. My heart would sink. It would be so painful that I would do everything I could to avoid anyone even noticing that I was fat, and never mind calling me fat. And so that was my relationship with the word. And a lot of people feel the same. You know, it's a real insult to a lot of people. And so the fat acceptance community have reclaimed it and said, hey, you can't use this word to make us feel like shit anymore. We're taking it back. It is now ours. And in that action, we've reclaimed the power of that word. And so now if someone says, oh, hey, fatty, or hey, you're fat, I'm like, yes, I am fat. Oh my gosh, isn't it amazing? Or, you know, if they're trying to insult me, I'll be like, yeah, well done. You have great observational skills. But if you're living in a bigger body and the word fat just doesn't jive with you, then that's fine. Like, you don't have to identify as fat if that word is really powerfully painful or it just doesn't sit with you. There's lots of different words that you could describe yourself, like bigger bodied, you know, a larger bodied individual, whatever you want. You know, it's up to you. So I don't go around saying to people, oh, hey, fat person, because, you know, a lot of people would be horrified and really offended, which, you know, they shouldn't be because it's a neutral descriptor, but that's the way that our society is, unfortunately. Yeah, so... You know what? Yes, it was kind of like, it felt like, and a lot of people have said this before, that you have to like reveal to the world that you're fat. Like, you have to come out and say, hey, I'm fat, and claim that word. And before, I felt like I was hiding in plain sight and, you know, didn't claim my identity as someone living in a bigger body. I was always like, no, not me, I'm not fat. And so, yeah, it took time for me to be like, you know what? No, I am fat, and there's nothing wrong with being fat, and actually telling the world, hey, I'm fat, and not ignoring the fact that I'm fat or trying to disguise my fatness or whatever is super liberating. And now it's super fun, especially when I meet new people and I, you know, if they ask me about what I do, and as soon as I say that word fat, if I say like I'm fat or whatever, they're like, oh no, you're not fat. I'm like, the last time someone said it to me, I was at my I would go singing, and there was a new person in the singing group, and one of my friends was like, oh, Victoria's got this new book out, it's called Fierce Fatty, and talks about how she's fat and stuff. And the person was like looking at my friend as if to say, what are you saying? And she was like, you're not fat. And I was like, I am. She's like, no, you're beautiful. And then I lifted up my top and I showed her my belly and like grabbed my fat, and I was like, look at all of this fat, I'm fat, aren't I? And she was like, yes. You could tell she was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, so confused. And I was like, I love being fat, there's nothing wrong with being fat. Anyway, so, you know, no matter whenever I describe like what I do is I teach fat people to love their bodies. I know that everyone is having some type of reaction, whether good or bad, to that one single 3-letter word.